This is a shambles, guys. I don't know what the macros are. I've created new graphics and I've not got a clue what the macros are. This is going to be
let's just press the button,
a disaster. And a
Let's
5
do
and a
this.
4 and a 3 and a 2 and a 1, Stephen. No, it's that one. There you go, guys. 50-50 chance. I picked the wrong one. What? What should you make of that, Stephen? What's the chances?
What are the chances?
I'd say they were very good with me.
Hello.
Oh,
Welcome to
Hello.
Movie News here on this Monday afternoon, evening, and good night whenever you're watching this show. I am your co-host Stephen, John McLaughlin, and
ho ho ho,
ho ho ho, Santa.
Secret Santa.
Don't go there. It was me.
It was me.
John
I did it.
C. Walsh, co-hosting as well. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us on our YouTube channel and of course our Twitch stream as well if you're tuning in on that platform. As you can gather, we are going to be talking about the Beatles.
No screen outro either, Stephen.
And
Forgot to add it.
That's okay. We'll just do a police squad or whatever thing, you know.
Jesus.
Freeze frame is laughing. But John, we're talking about Peter Jackson, we're talking about the Beatles. Two of our favourite subjects in the whole world. We can talk about this for hours and hours. So that's why we've only picked a few topics for tonight's show. And of course we are pre-recording our Christmas show as well, which we'll talk about in a little while. But John, this is coming in from everywhere. But I'm going to just pick the Rolling Stone because I do like their website and I do like their publication.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read a little bit of it. It's going to be very easy because we know all about this. We've already reported on this last year. Yes. One of our most viewed movie news episodes ever. That's not the reason we're doing it. We're doing it because we're really excited about this. This should have been out by now, John, if it wasn't for obviously the pandemic. But I'll read this and then I'll let you in with your thoughts anyway. Yeah, okay. Paul McCartney dropped a 5-minute clip from the doc via his Twitter Monday morning that features Jackson introducing the snippet and sharing the news that the film is just about half done. Jackson stressed that this is not a trailer for the doc, but rather a sampling of 56 hours of never-before-seen footage. It will feature, scored by the titular song, the sneak peek features all manner of studio antics. I've got to continue, John, because we do have a podcast featuring footage shot in early 1969, including clips from the band's legendary 1969 rooftop concert in London. The film promises to be the ultimate fly-in-the-wall experience that the Beatles fans have long dreamed about. It's like a time machine, transports us back to 1969, and we sit in the studio watching these four friends make great music together, according to Jackson. Get Back will build on 1970s Let It Be, also shot during those sessions, but will present a much sunnier vision of the Beatles' breakup. As Ringo Starr said in a release, there were hours and hours of us just laughing and playing music, not at all like the version that came out. There was a lot of joy, and I think Peter will show that. I think the version will be a lot more peace and loving, like we really were. John, I watched that clip, and that is exactly what I got from it. I'm going to pass it over to you now, John, yes. But just before I do, I'm going to just put in a little question there. Do you think that this puts a different outlook on the Beatles' sort of last year together? Yeah. Now, before... well, that's that answered. John, the Beatles anthology, which came out in 1995, the Beatles' own documentary, didn't portray this period in their existence as a happy-go-lucky, peace and love, lots of joy, like Ringo said. They were talking about it in the documentary, how depressing certain Olympic studios, I think it was, they went back to Savile Row to finish it up, a bit more cosy in the words of Neil Aspinall. But do you think there's probably a little bit of tinted glasses on from the I was about to say the existing Beatles, the remaining Beatles,
by Macca.
Yeah, Macca and Ringo.
Macca is famous, Stephen, for looking back in hindsight and painting things as rosy and changing things as well. Changing things that who wrote songs and stuff like that. Macca's apparently get a 50 writing credit now in what was it, Strawberry Fields or something, some ridiculous thing.
In My Life, and A Day in the Life,
and A Day in the Life. He'd done a little woke up, get out of bed.
But I don't really care for.
Yeah. But 50-50 rights because Lennon's now no longer with us, sadly. Yeah, Stephen, I think this will paint a different light on that final year or so.
But the footage is there, John. The proof is there. They did have a good time.
And Stephen, we've all seen glimpses into this. I've listened to audio sessions or clips of these sessions, and I'm sort of bickering as well. I mean, there was punches getting flung to Yoko Ono for stealing digestive biscuits by George Harrison, and I don't blame George, because look, I eat the watered down version of McVitie's these days, not as good as what they had in the 60s, and I would slap somebody if they try to steal my biscuits. So I'm all for George and his little bit of violence.
John, you used to stay right next door to the factory.
Oh, Stephen, the smell. Divine. Absolutely divine.
So I get where you're coming from.
Stephen, it's well worth slapping someone over if they steal your digestive biscuit. But look, man, I think it will paint a good light on this, because just the vibe from that trailer was very upbeat. Singing, dancing, literal dancing. Ringo was dancing, Lennon was dancing, Macca was dancing.
Lennon was all over the place. How animated was he? They were all animated,
Stephen,
but I've never seen him so
like that too if I was taking heroin. Let's be honest. He's on a high. So he was bouncing about when he came down. He was wanting to kill people, and we've seen that when they were speaking about the rooftop. Where are we going to do this final performance? They were thinking of arenas and cities to go to. I think Lennon said, just as a joke, why don't we do it on the roof? And Macca was kind of like, oh yeah, I quite like that, because he was scared of Lennon. Let's be honest, that's the truth. Everyone in that band was scared of John Lennon, because it's as Liam Gallagher famously says, it's one thing getting the shit kicked out of you by Keith Richards, but it's another thing getting the shit kicked out of you by a guy wearing a white suit with mobility, NHS prescriptive glasses, not diabetic. That's got nothing to do with your eyesight. What, maybe you may get those white things and stuff like that, but Stephen, I think it will. I think it will paint an interesting look into this final year of the Beatles, into this era in general, because we've all seen snippets of the Get Back, the Let It Be sessions, whatever they're called. We've seen the rooftop performance. It all get pulled off of YouTube, so I cannot wait to see this remastered, because we've seen what Peter Jackson done with They Shall Not Grow Old, footage from World War One, 80, 90 years ago. So what he done with that, and what is he then going to be able to do with this? And Stephen, that was the one thing we did say, watching this little peek. The sort of video stuff, the quality of the footage wasn't what I was expecting. It was good.
No, it was good.
It was cleaned up. But I thought it could have been even better.
John, it's funny, I watched it on a big screen, and I think just because of perhaps maybe the ratio this was filmed in, there might be issues, I'm not sure. But then I watched it again on an iPad, and it looked absolutely amazing. The other thing I was going to ask you, John, do you think there will be a soundtrack to accompany this? Do you think there will be a final sort of release of an album called Get Back?
Well, that'd be interesting. I thought you were maybe suggesting a re-release, a remastered version of Let It Be, because of course they have been remastered, all the Beatles
and we had albums. Let It Be Naked from 2002 as well.
Because obviously Stephen, Sgt. Pepper's got remastered a couple of years ago for the 50th anniversary. Giles Martin, the White Album. Abbey Roads came out. We've not had a Let It Be.
Funny feeling, John, Giles Martin perhaps may not want to get involved in this one. I know that there was obviously, or maybe he will. Maybe he wants to try and.
Better his father's work.
Well, not his. George Martin was on as reproduced, which really pissed him off, and I can understand why. Phil Spector, John, obviously put the sort of final mix together, unofficially according to Macca, and it was released obviously in 1970 without obviously Macca's consent.
Well, he wanted the stripped back version. That is the whole point of Let It Be. It was stripped back to the roots: guitar, drums, bass, no nonsense, no orchestral sort of movements in the background. Phil Spector came in and completely shat all over that vision, really, didn't he? He just put orchestra, wall of sound in there. That was his sort of style.
The other thing, John, I'm just going to ask you about, watching that 5-minute clip, Peter Jackson said that there was going to be, I don't know how many hours of unseen footage. There was a few things that I did notice that I'd seen before. I'd seen the Ringo doing the Groucho Marx thing in front of the camera. I'd seen the We're Bloody Stars, we've all seen that from YouTube. But you're right, John, all of this has been pulled from YouTube over the last 2 or 3 years on the sort of run up to this release,
No,
this has obviously been
about this, and then it got announced, and it all became apparent why they were taking it down.
You were obsessed with the rooftop stuff, John, and rightly so, just for the sound and the visions.
The visuals outside.
Yeah. And you said I can't find it anywhere anymore, and that's when the sort of mind started racing. What is it they're doing then? Why are they pulling that? There must be a reason for that.
Which don't let me down, Stephen. In particular, when you heard the actual drums of Ringo echoing in the street below, fantastic. The camera panned down to street level in London. They were walking around. You could hear the performance on the rooftop. That was gone off of YouTube. You can't get it anywhere. It's only really audio versions. So it's just things like that. Remastering the visual, the audio stuff. That performance, it's the last performance of the Beatles. It's going to be tremendous watching that on a big screen, and I will be watching this in a theatre. This ain't getting bought. This ain't getting watched on the BBC like we did, I should say, with They Shall Not Grow Old. I'm nearly killing this here. I'm nearly written down the audio interface. Just seeing this on the big screen, seeing his fingerprints all over it. He's got a team of absolute wizards over in New Zealand who siphon through all the footage and stuff like that. They clean it up. We've seen that with They Shall Not Grow Old. The dedication to making this, modernising this stuff. So just from the trailer alone, he says it himself, Peter Jackson, at the start, this will give you a vibe of what we're going for here, a feel of the energy of this movie. And you right away, you see the camaraderie, the brotherhood, if you like, between these four guys. I want to see the likes of Neil Aspinall, Mal Evans in there. I want to see the periphery figures of the Beatles. We obviously did see Martin as well. I'm completely blanking on his name. Absolutely horrendous.
George Martin.
George Martin. Yeah. I was about to say Giles, but Giles wasn't alive back there. Even back then, even though you would have you believe he was, because he sort of talks about the Beatles' music as if his fingerprints are all over it, and they weren't. It was your father, Giles, not you. I want to see these periphery figures though, Stephen, in this movie, because again, I keep going back, the audio sort of sessions, I've listened to them hours upon hours of this stuff.
Yeah.
The back and forth, the director, the people just hanging around listening
Michael
to
Lindsay
them perform.
Hogg,
yeah, all these people hanging around, Stephen, speaking mundane stuff, but it's fascinating on hearing just little pop cultural references from back in those days. So I want to see little bits of that. I want to see the energy of the performances and stuff like that.
Is there anything that stood out in that clip to you that surprised you?
Macca dancing with his legs like Lennon in the Hello Goodbye video, doing the twist.
Yeah, it was exactly like that. The one that surprised me was Yoko Ono and Linda McCartney smiling and having a chat and a good laugh with each other. It does portray something different to what we have grown to know over the last 50 years, since its release. It's going to be very interesting how this will carry forward, John. And I think that's probably what Paul McCartney and co. Sometimes I think Ringo just goes along with it. I think this is more Macca driven. Obviously, it's Peter Jackson driven as well. This is a dream come true for
Peter Jackson asked to do a documentary, Steve. You don't say no to
No, you definitely don't, John. But I think this is going to change things. I think with the tone of the sort of the last year of the Beatles. Neil Aspinall sadly no longer with us. He was so protective of the Beatles name and the brand and the label. He's no longer with us. He's not got. I don't think the company's got that same protection. I think one of the last things that he obviously executed, if you like, was the Beatles' music going onto digital platform. I think it was probably the best thing to do. You can be very precious with the material all you want, but I think you have to move with the times as well. I think this.
Steve, you didn't get Beatles music anywhere in adverts or nothing.
Same with AC/DC as well. They were one of the very last bands to go on to digital platforms. But I think this documentary, John, this film, and I think there will be an accompanying soundtrack because we've already got the book out. This is a good opportunity to sort of show a new generation of fans. This is something the Beatles have always done. That's why I'm touching on Neil Aspinall, because he was such a huge part of that. And the release of the Beatles anthology, the #1 album that came out, Let It Be Naked, which came out, the Cirque du Soleil thing, Love album as well. They just seem to reproduce quality material after all this time. A band that split up 50 years ago still surprises to this day, along with Peter Jackson, who's one of our favourite filmmakers of all time. This
weird
is
looking guy though, and absolute murder he cut out for a thumbnail.
Yeah,
that hair.
So I heard, but I'm looking forward to it.
Stephen, I'm looking forward to it too for all the reasons you says. Sort of rejuvenating this, putting a new gloss of paint on it for the new generation, for the old generations as well who have grown up watching it. getting to see it in its best form, if you like.
Yeah.
High, hopefully 1080p at least. I'd prefer 4K, but I don't think it's going to happen because, to be quite frank, as you did mention earlier, source material, the aspect ratio, a little bit dodgy when you try to put it on a big sort of screen. But I hope he'll do something with it and maybe make it look as best as possible. But you're right, Stephen, just rejigging it for a new generation, best possible way you can consume it. I think we will get an album. And just so looking forward to this, man. I cannot wait to see. We've been speaking about this for over a year now. I think you did mention it. The best, one of our best sort of movie news shows to date, and it was about a year ago. So just saddened me that it's been delayed, but it's gave him a better chance to make it as good as he could possibly make
it. Isn't it?
So horses for courses, as George Martin once
said. Yeah, the friends are dead.
Friends
I'm going to move on, John, to our next topic. It's very short and sweet, this show tonight. We've only got another topic after this one. It's really just a matter of fact. This Wonder Woman 1984 releases on PVOD in the UK on January 13th, or as we say in the UK, the 13th of January. Wonder Woman 1984 has already released theatrically in the UK, and on July 13th the film will be flying to PVOD for UK fans to enjoy at home. I have not actually read some of the early reviews on this, John. I don't know if you've picked up on any of them, but
I did on a show about it, Stephen.
So you did. But
very briefly.
You can tell I didn't watch them. I just clipped them. But
Stephen, I don't watch my own shows either. It's painful.
Sometimes we do vanity searches, but that's as far as we go. Wonder Woman 1984 is flying
other people having to watch me.
PVOD on January 13th via Deadline in the UK. The film has already been released in theatres here, although not all locations are open. According to Deadline, the film will be available via PVOD for a 48-hour rental while it continues to play in theatres. So we've got a date, John.
Are the cinemas open here? No, they're not. They're shut.
Everything's
Definitely
changed,
shut.
you know. And this article only came in. It was only 2 days ago. It was over the weekend. This is what we do in Monday shows. We pick up these articles. But John, this is coming in from Screen Rant. What's your thoughts on this? This is a 48-hour window. Are you going to bother? Or are you going to go to the theatre if we can get the? Obviously,
it's only out 48 hours on
PVOD.
On PVOD. That's terrible, isn't it? What are they doing?
I don't know.
Steve, we can't go to theatres.
No.
We literally can't go to theatres. We are.
This is the second week in January. This will happen. I think that this is going to have to change because obviously the government has changed a lot of things in the last 3 days.
We've got a new strain over here. We're in isolation. Complete isolation. Everyone's cutting ties with the United Kingdom just now. That's great. I hope we have long memories, though. I tell you that. I was speaking about that today.
Yeah.
And when a new strain maybe pops up in France or Germany or something like that, we perhaps shut the door on them as well and leave them out in the winter colds, if you like. Look. Mark Hamill, I should say. I always call him Luke because he is Luke. In Norway, was it, when he was forced outside of that hotel and they shot the footage from inside?
I mean, said he was freezing to death and we were all warm and toasty.
Yeah, that's
nice
what
guy.
I would do to the rest of these countries when a new strain pops up there. But yeah, Stephen, I think it's not great, is it? The United States, it releases in a dual strategy over there on Christmas Day in theatres where they're opened, and on HBO Max for subscribers on there. Over here, we can't get to theatres because the theatres are shut down here.
Yeah.
And we're about to go into a strict lockdown in the foreseeable future. Boxing Day, to be more precise, 26th of December. So there ain't going to be theatres opened here over the course of the next month or so, 2 months. So in a sense, I think they're throwing us to the dogs, really. We're being left out in the cold.
Yeah.
We are like Mark Hamill in Norway just now because we can't consume that. We can't see this movie legitimately. If we want to watch this movie now, they're forcing you into a corner to watch it illegally via pirating because we can't go to the theatres to watch it and it's not accessible digitally. I'm surprised, Stephen, they're not releasing this on Sky because obviously Rupert Murdoch's Sky, he has a deal with Warner Brothers. We get lots of Warner Brothers content, Harry Potter and stuff like that goes on. It's a channel specifically for Harry Potter on Sky. I'm stunned that they've not done a deal similar to HBO Max where it goes and releases dual in theatres where it's applicable, which is nowhere just now in the UK because we're getting into strict lockdown, and on a service like Sky for people subscribed. I'm stunned they're not doing it, and they're really like Disney before them with The Mandalorian, forcing you to pirate the movie, really, because you have no choice. Either wait for a 48-hour window, 13th of January, 15, what is that? 10, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the United States has watched it, or pirate it when it comes out in the United States. You know what I mean? I don't want to pirate it. I want to give Patty Jenkins
yeah.
and Gal Gadot and everyone involved in the movie's production the money because they deserve it. It looks like a great movie. I don't want to pirate it with a force in your hand.
No. John, in an ideal world, I don't really want to watch it in PVOD either.
No.
I want to watch it in theatres, but unfortunately I can't. And it's a film that's designed for theatres. I'm not going to be able to experience that anytime
unless
soon.
they re-release it.
Well, that's the only thing. I mean, Chris Nolan said they would re-release Tenet as well some point next year, hopefully.
And I'll go watch it again.
Yeah, so will I, John. You know, we had the privilege of going to see that in the cinema, and I'm glad we did. I didn't want to see that film in PVOD. I did not want to see it. But we're kind of backed into a corner in this country at the moment, and it might be the only way to see it in that 48-hour window, John, which is a bit of a joke, to be honest with you. But maybe they'll extend it now that the sort of goalposts have changed. So
why are we any different to the United States then? That's what I would question to Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
They get it on the streaming service indefinitely. But we've got a 48-hour window.
I don't know what the window's all about. I don't know what the purpose of it is. I don't know what it serves, other than you're kind of forcing people's hands in to watch it at a certain point in time that month. But listen, John, we're going to move on. I'm sure that news story will change. Probably change tomorrow, actually. It's just one of those things. I think it's just they're taking it every day as it comes. But John, we're going to talk about the Oscars 2021, everything we know about the 93rd Academy Awards. This is coming in from Cinema Blend. It's normally a topic we do discuss this time of year anyway.
Stephen, I'll tell you what, there's been so many movies released digitally this year. I'm going to be struggling big time to probably pick out some of the movies that have been nominated. I usually rush furiously to watch the movies that are coming up for nomination. I don't know what's going to be getting nominated, and even if it's something that's come out, I've watched very little movies digitally this year. I have to tell you, I've watched a lot of old movies.
That is the question.
Indian movies.
That is the question that Cinema Blend are asking. When will the 93rd Academy Award nominations be announced? And this is what they said. Of course, before you have a show, you have to have nominees. Typically announced in mid-January. Nominations day is like Christmas morning for fans of the Oscars. We come up early around 5 a.m. for those on the West Coast, that's the US, certainly at the West Coast of Scotland, to see who got in and who was snubbed. People are
wake
normally
up early for
drunk.
The walk.
People are normally drunk at 5 a.m. in the West Coast of Scotland.
Getting ready to go to the lodge.
For the 2021 Oscars, the nomination process won't get started until February 1st with preliminary voting, which gets... put my posh voice on it. Categories
an absolute joke today.
Like Best Documentary, Best International Film, Best Visual Effects and more down a shortlist voted on by members of their affiliated Academy branches. Prelim voting will end this year on February 5th with Oscars shortlisting announced on February 9th. A very short window. We're talking about short windows. Nominations voting open in mass on March 5th before wrapping up on March 10th. The 93rd Academy Award nominations will then be announced bright and early on March 15th. Now, just before I let you in, John, the Academy decided to push back the ceremony from its original date of February 28th, 2021 to April 25th, 2021. So it's probably enough time, I think. I think it's really just given more films a chance to release before obviously the nominations come in, before that window is shut. But what's your views on this anyway?
Stephen, I'm surprised it's even going ahead. That's my views. Stunned in actual fact. There's been so many great movies. Shocked and stunned. It's come back to that era again. My friends did.
Yeah.
Was that not the Riddles?
It was.
Shocked and stunned.
Yeah, it was. Both. It's what do you call it? The Mandela effect. Both.
They blend in.
Yeah, they blend in.
Ouch. Ouch. Help. Help. They just blend in. Steve, I'm surprised it's going ahead. There's not been a great deal of movies released this year. I don't think the calibre of movie has been all that great compared to comparative years.
It's been shit.
It's been shit, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
I would just give all the nominations to
Tenet.
the 5 Bloods, really. Maybe Tenet as well, for technical stuff. But the 5 Bloods.
Yeah.
Give Delroy Lindo the Best Actor award just now. I know Tom Hanks has had a couple of movies, Greyhound and that News of the World thing, but Delroy Lindo, for me, Stephen, best performance I've seen all year from an actor, female actor. I need to think long and hard about that.
Yeah.
There's not been a great deal of movies. I'm really
international film.
International movie. Not watched any, Stephen.
No. Well, we have.
We've watched a lot of international movies, but none.
But not new ones.
Not new ones that have been potentially up for Oscars. Again, this is where Steve, I'm usually behind the curve when it comes to foreign language international movies, I tend to watch the Oscars, see what comes out the hat really, and then it interests me and it sends me off on a journey.
Yeah, we're Parasite. A bunch of glory hunters.
Yeah, we're a bunch of glory hunters, yeah. But it does, it's just, that's natural. It's like the World Cup. You're not going to look at shite teams like San Marino and stuff like that. You'll wait to the World Cup and you'll sort of piggyback on for a sort of Germany or something like that, because we're Scottish, we don't go to World Cups.
John, I love the fact you compare like foreign film to the San Marino.
Not to San Marino, no, I'm comparing it, Stephen, some foreign movies that I wouldn't watch to San Marino. I wait for the good ones to come out, then I watch them, in a sense. So, yeah, I'm surprised it's even going ahead. I'm surprised they're determined to have this in person as well. It's not going to be a sort of Zoom call event, because this virus ain't going to be gone by April 25th. That's pie in the sky. The vaccines are rolling out. The headbanger count over in the United States, I'm sure, is even higher than here in terms of anti-vaxxers. So, God, that virus will still be marauding mid to late April next year. So, I don't think it's going to go ahead in person unless there's a miracle happens. And in terms of nominations, I actually need to search up, man, what movies could be. I know Nomadland, I need to watch that. That's apparently amazing. I have to watch that. The Trial of the Chicago 7, I did watch. Don't know if that's Best Picture caliber movie at the Oscars. I'm really very surprised about that. Gary Oldman, Mank. That's your man, isn't it? Fincher. So that could potentially be in there. There's a couple of them. Stephen, I really need to watch these movies. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, is that not the last Chadwick Boseman movie with Octavia Spencer? I think that maybe. I may need to search that up. So there is some good movies coming out. I'm talking shite, but it'll be very intriguing just to see what movies get nominated and how it's all going to play out, really, because it's obviously during a pandemic, it's uncharted waters.
Well, John, part of the Academy Awards is the Oscar buzz, and that's what's missing. Yep. The buzz. The
buzz is gone because we're not getting to watch
movies. There's not enough enthusiasm, and that's not to say these films aren't of a high quality. They certainly are, and they are every year. But the buzz isn't there. That's the missing ingredient, Yeah,
absolutely, Stephen. It's award season, and there's no movies really coming out, so it's a crying shame, really. Yeah. But look, I'm done.
I'm done and dusted.
The very short and sweet show. This is going to be very fun, guys, because I don't have a macro currently attached to the end screen outro, so I'm going to have to stretch over and click it. But yes, please God. It's going to round up the show, though. What was your thoughts on that sneak peek of Get Back, the latest Peter Jackson sort of documentary experience? What did you make about it? Is it something you're excited about? Do you think it will paint a new picture for the last sort of climatic year of the Beatles? What do you make about the other two topics we spoke about? Wonder Woman 1984 coming to premium VOD for a 2-day window in the United Kingdom in the middle of January. Do you think that's a mistake? Are they pushing people to piracy? I think they are. What do you think about it? What do you make about the Oscars 2021? Should it go ahead? What should be nominated? Who's your favourites for all the categories, man? You can comment below if you've got anything to say. But I'm going to round the show up rather tragically by bidding you a farewell. Bye-bye, guys.